All right, guys. So, real quick before this episode of the podcast starts. So, first thing you're going to hear, hopefully the sound isn't too off, because whilst editing this, I fucked up, and the first 8 minutes and 20 seconds of the podcast here might be quieter than the rest of the podcast after that. I'm not sure. I've hopefully partially fixed the sound, so it should be as loud as the rest of it. It should be all equal volume. Hopefully. Maybe. Yes. And this is also another audio-only episode, because I didn't have time to hook up my camera and finish filming a video portion. I didn't have time to edit a video portion as well, so this is just audio only. But hopefully you guys enjoy this episode anyway. And with that being said, let's get on to the episode. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Anything and Everything podcast, episode 22. Nobody insert that stupid fucking Taylor Swift song right now. If I see an edit where you insert that stupid fucking Taylor Swift song, I'm copyrighting the video. And I'm suing your pants off. You understand me?
I mean it.
No, I'm kidding. I'm not actually going to do that. I'm kidding. Seriously, we are on episode 22 of the Anything and Everything podcast, aka, I don't know how many months that is. I can't remember. I'm not a mathematician. Matter of fact, I did terribly at math in high school, which is why I don't take it now. But yes, first thing you're going to notice, again, is, yes, this is another audio version. I originally filmed a video portion in a previous take, I guess you could say, of the podcast that I did. I did a previous take of this episode a few days ago, but only filmed half of it, and because I didn't like the original episode that I filmed. I didn't like the original episode, or part of the episode that I filmed, so I just decided to scrap all of it. So yeah, I didn't have time to do an actual video portion. And then didn't get a chance to film the rest of it. So, but I promise you, next week will be a video. There will be a video portion to next week's episode. I just didn't have the time this week to get my camera out and film an entire podcast episode. So this will be another audio portion. But hey, at least that way I'll be able to edit it pretty quickly, get it out on time, or at least the time that I set for myself. And I'll be able to mess around with the audio and stuff to make it sound good. So yes. So for this week's episode of the podcast, I wanted to start off on the negative side, which I don't normally do, but I'm going to do it because I just want to talk about it, and I think it should be talked about, because some kind of shit's going to have to change, okay? And I'm sure you all know what I'm referring to, even by this point. I'm referring to the church shooting that happened on Sunday. As of recording this, I'm recording this on Friday, November the 10th. So that's a little time frame for you. This happened on Sunday, the 5th. That would have been the 5th. So the church shooting happened on the 5th, and I'm recording this on the 10th. So there's a time frame. But I'm talking about the church shooting in Sutherland Springs, Texas, it happened pretty much as the Charleston shooting happened. Basically walked up to the church, already firing his gun, firing into the church, then went into the church and proceeded to pretty much fucking massacre every single person inside. Last I checked, the current death toll is I believe stands at 26. So, yeah, a little more than a dozen. 26 is the current death toll. But that's not even the worst part about that. The worst part about the death toll is that I believe it said 8 out of the 26 were children between the ages of 1 and 16 was the oldest child, as you would say, that who was killed. Children. The youngest of whom was 18 months old. They did count the unborn fetus of a woman who was pregnant who was killed as one of the dead, I believe. But I'm not going to get into that because that ain't the place. This ain't the place for it. Even the FBI and ATF and things say that's what happened because they were able to get footage from the inside of the church because the church was filming that particular worship service because they would upload them onto the internet and stuff. So they were filming that service. So there was a camera inside that church. And according to the FBI and ATF and Texas Rangers and Texas Highway Patrol and other agencies, they've seen the video and it literally does show, they said it literally shows the man executing people. It shows Devin Kelly or shit stain number whatever the fuck at this point, basically shooting those people in the head. He would shoot them, then go back and like shoot them in the head and just horrible shit like that. And the craziest part was the amount of rounds he apparently fired. So according to the investigators so far, I believe it said they found 15 empty magazines, like 15 empty rifle magazines that could hold 30 rounds each. Empty, meaning he had already fired them. He had already fired every round from those 15 magazines, which I did the math yesterday before I was going to record this. So I did the math, and that means if he fired 15 magazines with 30 rounds each, that comes out to 450 rounds. And that's what the investigators said. That's what the FBI and shit said. They said there were bullet holes everywhere. They said that place was basically destroyed by the amount of bullets that he fired. If he did in fact fire 450 rounds into 26 people. And here's the part that really gets under my skin, more so than the rest of this. So Devin Kelly was not supposed to be anywhere near a gun. He was not supposed to be anywhere near anything that could have a firearm because he was basically a convicted felon, I believe, or at least court-martialed. So he served in the U.S. Air Force from 2009 to 2014. And while he was serving in the Air Force, he was apparently court-martialed in 2012 for beating the ever-loving fuck out of his wife and child. So he was court-martialed for it, but not court-martialed for very long, nor did I think he have to serve too much prison time. But as part of his court-martial, Devin Kelly was supposed to be nowhere near a gun for the rest of his life. They told him he was not supposed to go near a fucking gun for the rest of his life. Yet, according to the same articles, he managed to buy several guns legally. Well, illegally, but it would have, well, technically in his case, it would have been illegally because of his convictions, but technically legally because apparently the U.S. Air Force didn't log in his convictions to their system, which I don't know how that works, but I am not an IT person, so I don't know how any of that works. But meaning he should have been logged into the U.S. Air Force's system for all of their court-martial people and stuff like that, so they could track whether or not he tried to buy a gun, but they didn't do that. So he was basically able to legally purchase guns from stores. Of course, this is Texas, so In Texas, you can pretty much buy a gun and they won't ask you about anything else. They don't care about people getting murdered, nor do they care about the children that got murdered. All the NRA and the gun companies care about is how much money you give them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sold the guns to this. He apparently bought these guns between 2012 to 2017 this year. He bought guns all the way up until like September, I think, is when he bought the gun he ultimately used. I think that's when he bought the AR-556 or whatever it is that he used, which he shouldn't have been able to buy because he had convictions. But it's Texas, so they don't care about that. So that just blows my mind. How in the name of God did they let this motherfucker buy his guns? How did the fucking wherever the fuck he got court-martialed from, how did they air quotes not remember to send the information off to the U.S. Air Force? I'm saying the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. military, and whoever the hell else he went through to get through his court-martial. Whoever did his court-martial, that's who I partially blame for this shit, because they could have kept him from buying these guns to do this shit with. Apparently, that's the reason he was able to buy the guns in the first place, was the fact that his convictions and records and court-martials didn't show up on the background check when they went to do it. So it's as if he had never done anything, basically. So he basically had free range to buy whatever the fuck gun he wanted. How could they let a dude like this walk around in society? This dude was obviously beyond mentally fucking ill because he escaped from a mental asylum, apparently. How in the name of God could you let a guy like this walk around society? This example is the example that we need to use to get shit changed. This shit's getting ridiculous. In my view, frankly, this shit's getting fucking ridiculous. I think that was less than a month between the two worst shootings we've had this year. This is why shit needs to fucking change. This is why I'm for gun control. Notice I said control. I said the words control. 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 Okay? Control. Not the words, we gonna take your guns away, you. That's not what I said. You can understand. My microphone's not that bad. You can understand me. My southern accent is not that thick. You can understand what I'm saying. I said gun control, not taking them away. Because if we don't do some kind of gun control, who's to say this isn't going to happen next month? And then January, February, March. These shootings are going to keep getting worse because we keep letting mentally fucked people buy guns without even questioning it. And that's because nobody gives a fuck. All right, we're going to move on from that because otherwise this whole episode's going to be a downer. As most of you know, or at least in the U.S., most of you in the United States know, Thanksgiving is approximately 15 days away. Basically 2 weeks away, I think. I might be wrong, I don't know. 2 weeks away, something like that. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to personally cook myself. So, of course, I'll be with my family for Thanksgiving, and they're going to be doing most of the cooking. But I said I was going to make something like a pie or something, even though we're already going to have like 2 or 3 different kinds of pie there. A pie was the easiest thing I found I could make, for myself at least. That's the easiest thing I could find that I knew I would be able to make, which I'm not saying I'm a bad cook. Matter of fact, I think I'm a pretty darn good cook, actually. Even other people have told me I'm a good cook. So I'm not sure what kind of pie I want to make, though. As a matter of fact, all you people on YouTube can, if you would like to, leave a comment. Tell me to decide which pie I'm going to make. All right? We're going to do a little poll. And I might actually do it just for fun. I don't know. Just for the fun of it. if any of you on YouTube and or SoundCloud would like to, please comment and help me decide which one of these three or four pies I'm going to do. So, I have 4 separate pie recipes that I'm trying to decide between doing. Either the first pie is a peanut pie. And these are all pies that are apparently pretty popular in the South. They're all Southern recipe style pies. So a peanut pie, which is obviously peanuts and peanut butter. And I can't remember the ingredients list. I'll have to look at the ingredients list again. But it's basically a pie using peanuts and peanut butter. It's literally what it says. It's a peanut pie. A pie made out of peanut butter. And some other stuff. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 is actually something called a transparent pie, which I believe was from Kentucky, I think. And all of these pies had states next to them. All of these pies had this specific states next to them that I guess they were popular in. I was going to make a pecan pie that is apparently popular in Alabama, but my brother doesn't like anything with any kind of tree nut in it. My brother doesn't like nuts.
These nuts?
So, yeah. I figure I'll just make something without any kind of like tree nut. So, the second option is a transparent pie, which I believe it said was from Kentucky? Georgia? Maybe the peanut pie was from Georgia. I don't know, something like that. But it's basically called a transparent pie because of the color of the filling. So this pie base is the easiest. This is the easiest pie I could possibly make because it basically uses eggs, sugar, butter, and heavy cream. Like heavy cream, as in the stuff with all the fat in it. Heavy cream can also get pricey, I should say. Heavy cream is not cheap because of how much, I guess, processing and work they have to put into it. I will splurge, even though I hate the word splurge because it sounds disgusting. I've always hated the word splurge because it sounds like some sort of sexual act. I won't talk about that because it's gross. I will shell out the money for heavy cream. I don't know. So that's option 2. So that would be the easiest. And it basically looks like a lemon pie or whatever. And option number 3 is actually a, what they called in the magazine article, they called it a cushaw pie because this pie is actually made from a specific kind of like squash. But apparently the cushaw squash, which is what the pie is made out of, apparently that type of squash is like super hard to get. It's actually super hard to get and like very expensive. So I have a set budget I'm going to use for my food. I don't want to have to drop $20 on a fucking squash. But thankfully, the same article said you could use like butternut squash or some other winter type squash, which thankfully, butternut squash, they're actually fucking cheap as shit. They're actually cheap as shit. Butternut squash are cheap as shit around here. At least in Alabama they are. Butternut squash are pretty cheap in Alabama, so I can get a hold of one pretty quick. So I might do that. But I don't know if my brother will eat a pie made out of a squash. So I might do the peanut pie. The peanut pie sounds like one everybody will eat. But those are the 3 pies. Either the cushaw pie or butternut squash pie, as I'll call it. So either the butternut squash pie or cushaw pie, the peanut pie, or the transparent pie. One of those 3 is what I've narrowed it down to. So, for those of you in the SoundCloud comments, because I know you people can comment on my track, or those of you in YouTube can help me decide which pie I want to do, if you'd want to. I don't know. You don't have to. I'm just doing this for fun. So I know what the fuck to do, because I'm very indecisive. I can't decide on anything, especially food. But I will say, I do plan to turn that into a cooking video. Like a real good cooking video. Because I'm going to try to get my hands on a lav mic, a lavalier mic, a lapel mic, if you will. I'm going to try to get my hands on one of those kind of mics. So my cooking videos can all be professional and shit. Maybe I'll be able to feel like my cooking videos are actual professional cooking videos for once. I'll feel like a true professional. Plus, it'll just be easier for me to work with. As you've seen in my older cooking videos, I either had to use the camera's onboard mic, or I had to hook up one of my other mics and put it in the center of the room and hope I got decent sound. So I'm going to try to get a hold of a lav mic so I don't have to do all that. So I can just plug the lav mic into my Zoom recorder and put it in my pocket and clip it to myself, and we can go from there. That'll be easy. But we'll see. We'll see if it comes in time. So yes, be looking forward to that video. And even if I don't get a lav mic, I'm still going to make a cooking video off of that. So I am going to be making a cooking video off of my Pi. So be on the lookout for that. I'll do it one way or the other. If I have to put my Zoom recorder in my shirt pocket by itself, I'll do that. But you'll get a cooking video. I will make a cooking video. But first, I'll have to figure out how to use a second camera. I've got one main camera, but I have to figure out how to use the second camera. That's going to be hard. But I'll think of something. And if you notice me sounding weird, I literally woke up. I literally woke up out of my bed 45 minutes ago. So I'm still kind of tired. / groggy. Plus, my sleep pattern was fucked last night, so I'm slightly tired. But I'm going to record this shit anyway. Because fuck it.
Fuck it.
We'll do it live. I'm done channeling Bill O'Reilly. So yes, I just wanted to talk about pie for a while. Because if you don't like pie, if you're a person who doesn't like pie and or food, get the fuck off my podcast. Get the fuck off of my podcast station, okay? Go watch Shane Dawson's podcast. Go watch Shane Dawson's podcast. He's funnier and more professional. And his podcasts sound better. And he has an actual budget. And he has other people on the podcast with him. While I'm doing this podcast by myself. Every single fucking episode of this podcast I'm doing by myself. Because I have no one. Because I'm so lonely. So very fucking lonely. God damn it. Fuck. Okay. No. That was the fakest, most shittiest, most poorly acted crying I've ever done in my life. Seriously though, get the fuck out. Go. Get out of here. Get off my podcast. Go to Shane Dawson. Go to Grace Helbig. Whoever the fuck, I don't care. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here, you pie-hating motherfuckers. I'm kidding. Please don't actually leave. Please. I need more people watching this podcast because I have a fetish for accomplishment and value and accomplishment and accolades and approval. But please don't leave. I actually want people to watch this and or listen to this. Don't leave. Don't go. No. I can hear you walking out. I can hear you walking out through my microphone. I can hear you walking out through my headphones. No, come back. Come back. Okay, no, I'm done. I'm done with that bit. But seriously, no, I don't care. I like pie. Pie is one of my favorite desserts. So I wanted to talk about pie and food because I'm hungry because I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Because I'm recording this at 10:36 in the fucking morning. I'm literally recording this on November 10th, 2017 at 10:36 in the fucking morning. That's when I'm recording this. You want an exact time of when I'm recording this shit? That's the time. And I was originally going to talk about Socio Repos, as I'm calling him now, because he's pretty much now the most hated person on YouTube, next to Onision. But I won't get into that. I'm not going to get into that because I've actually already filmed a video on that. I've already filmed a video on Socio Repos, and that video will be part of my weekend address series that I've started. So I'm going to put that video up probably either tomorrow, which is Saturday, or I'll put it up on Sunday. If I don't have time Saturday or Sunday, I'll put the video up on Monday. But look forward to that because it's probably one of the most satisfying things I've ever filmed in my life. It's probably the most satisfying video I've ever made because I get to rant for 16 minutes about fucking Socio Repos. But I'm not going to talk about that today because, that's just more stuff I have to edit. So yes, look forward to that video as well. And look forward to my cooking video that I'm going to be making in the soon time. Soon time. Of all the words I could have just said, I said soon time. I meant meantime. I don't know, whatever the fuck. I've only had 1 cup of coffee today. I usually have 2. I'm going on a lack of coffee, okay? Get off my ass. I think that'll do it for this episode of the podcast because it's been going long enough and I don't want to have to edit that much more. So yes. So if you enjoyed this episode of the podcast, you guys on SoundCloud can like the episode, like the track rather, comment on the track and all that kind of stuff. And you people on YouTube can... I hope those aren't cops coming for me for a noise complaint. In the next 5 minutes, if you hear knocking and Shelby County Sheriff's Office, that means I've been called for a noise complaint. I don't hear anything, so I think I'm good. So you guys on YouTube can thumbs up the video, thumbs down the video, comment on the video, comment the video, whatever you want. I don't care, as I never care. And I will see you guys in next week's podcast episode. All right, guys. See ya.